Hello, fourth graders. Thank you for joining me today for Number Corner. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a problem string. So you're going to need your Number Corner student books. Flip to the back sides of your pages so that you are at the problem string workspace. And then you are going to need something to write with. So that way you are all set for today. So if you don't have that, pause the video right now, go grab it. We're also going to be doing some pausing during this video for you to be able to work through some problems. So when I say pause the video, I expect that you are going to pause that video and then replay it and resume once you are finished with the problem that you are working on. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Our first problem here, it says 12 times 10. Okay, 12 times 10. That's a pretty easy problem for us. If we do 12 times 10, I always like to use my array model. It's something that is easy for my brain, but it's also easy as in I'm able to explain it really well, I hope. So let's go ahead and let's see here. And if you have any questions, all you have to do is either let me know, let one of your teachers know, or ask a friend. A friend could be able to explain it to you really well. So if we see here 12 times 10, well, I know that when we have 12 times 10, I put 10 on this side because it's the shorter side. I put 12 on this side. And when we multiply that out, we got our total of 120. So day 17 is, or not day 17, sorry, I just read that right there. 120. So if I keep going on here, that was pretty nice. Oh, all right, 12 times 9. Why do you think we would use 12 times 9 instead of 12 times 10? Well, let's go ahead and let's see. So 12, you know what? Actually, we're going to keep this 12 line the exact same. So this is still going to be 12, but instead of 10, we're going to do this. We're going to do 9. Now I know that's not a very straight line, but here, let me show you. All right, here was my square that I built, and this square instead was 9. So what I did was all I had to do, instead of figuring out what is 12 times 9, well, I knew 12 times 10 is 120, and this little chunk here is 12. So because this is 12 and this is 1. This is 1, or actually maybe I'll make it a different length. So that'll be 1. So 1 times 12, this thing is 12 here. So all I have to do to figure out 120, or 12 times 9, is I could think 12 times 10, 120 minus 12 equals, what does it equal? Well, it equals 108. So I'm going to go ahead and let me just write down here, 108. Now, do you see how I was able to subtract and almost like drop one of the 12s here? So keep that in mind when we go on to the next problem. All right, moving on. We're going to go on and jump on this problem here. So the next problem is, 120 divided by 12. We just did this problem. So this problem is the opposite of 12 times 10. 120 divided by 12 equals, all right, well, we had just done this problem. So when we divide out 120 divided by 12, we get our total of 10. Because again, we have 12 and 10 on that side. And when we divided it, or when we multiplied it out, we got 120. So then looking at what our final question on this page is, it says 108 divided by 12. Well, think about this. Remember that multiplication and division are complete opposites. So one thing that I want you to think about is that when we're also dividing, not only with multiplication here, but with division, we can also look at, okay, 108 is basically one group of 12 less than 120. So if we wanted to figure out what is the answer to this problem, well, I could just take away one group of 12 from 120. So 120 minus 12 is 108. When you divide that out, you get your total of 9. So we went from 10 to 9 there. I'm actually going to write that in black So 10 to 9, just because, again, this amount is 12. So keep thinking about this. We're going to go on to the next problem here. All right, now I'm going to give you, I'm going to sit here for a little bit. I want you to solve this problem. Go ahead. Pause the video right now and solve this problem. So you have paused the video, and now we're going to go over it. So 135 divided by 15. This kind of seems like a difficult problem. This doesn't seem like a very simple one. Let's think about a problem that could be simpler. So what about, instead of 135 divided by 15, what if we did 150 divided by 15? Well, let's do it. So if I take 115 divided by 30, again, I always love my area models. I'm going to use this here. Let's do something like, I think about that would work. And the reason why is I think, okay, a square is both of the sides are the same, and then I'm going to extend it out a little bit. So what I can see here is, and what I want to put down is this side, I'm going to do 15, because that's my divisor. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10. Because what is 10 times 15? Well, just add a 0 onto that 15, and our total is 150 in this circle, or in the square here. 150 is our square unit. Now, if we keep going and we think about, okay, well, what if we just subtract a 15 from 150? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these away. I'm going to take a 9 away, and I'll be right back. Okay, so essentially what I did was I took 10 and I subtracted 1. So I got for a total of just this amount here. This is worth 9. So then what this is worth is this is still worth 15 times 1. So this is essentially worth 15. Here's what it looks like mathematically. Essentially, if I were to take 15 and I wanted to multiply it by 9, I would go ahead and I did something like this. So I did 15 times 10. I'm going to stretch it out and make it a little smaller there. So I did 15 times 10, and then I subtracted a 15 times 1. So that's what I did with this little square here. I took it away, so I'm taking it out. So then what I was left with was I was able to see that I had 15. I'm actually going to make this again wide, smaller. Actually, no, I'm going to do this. Sorry. So 15 times 1, so 15 times 9 equals, so then when I had 15 times 10, that equaled 150. And then I'm subtracting 15 from that. So when I have, so 15 times 9 equals 135. 15 times 9, that equals 135. So essentially, that means that 135 divided by 15, opposite, that means it is going to be 9. That's going to be our amount there. So then the next thing that we are going to do here is we are going to go over this problem here. Is 140 divided by 14. 140 divided by 14. How do we think we're going to work through this? Go ahead, pause the video, and give it a shot. Well, 140 divided by 14, that is a problem that we know to be a nice 0 problem. So that leads us to our answer of 10. So if we keep going here, one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write down, and I'm going to change the style really quick. I'm going to write down, sorry, give me 1 second, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to write down 140 on the top here. And I'm going to put 10 on the bottom. Now, when I do that, and the reason why I'm going to do that, you'll find out in just a second. If we jump to the next problem here, it says 126 divided by 14. 126. Let's think about what that is, or why that's Well, that's significant because if you subtract 14 from 140, you get 126. So then if I write 9 here, because this is going to be like our ratio tables. For 10, I had 140. For 9, I have 126 because I am subtracting 14. So subtract 14. This is going to be subtracting 1. If I then jump to the next problem here, it says 154 divided by 14. Okay, well, I know 140 plus 10 is 150 plus 4 is 11, or plus 4 is 154. So that means that this problem, well, also I forgot to write 9 here. That means that this problem is going to have how much? I have to have 11. So now if I see here, I'm going to put 11 on the bottom because that was where my other numbers were, or my quotient numbers. Then I have 154. Okay, so what's a pattern? Do we see a pattern at all? Well, I actually do. So going from 140 to 154, we were able to see that they added 14. Going from 10 to 11, we added 1. So let's keep thinking about that. Okay, so this last problem here, it says 144 divided by 16. Okay, 144 divided by 16. I'm going to use the ratio table method here. So 144 divided by 16. So I'm going to think about, okay, well, 16, I know that what might be really close to 144, 16. I know that 16 times 10 equals 160. That's something that I do for sure know. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that. 160 on the top, because that's what I know. And I'm going to write 16 on the bottom. Remember, the only way that I got this was I saw 16 and I was like, oh, maybe that's going to be close to 160. So then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see, okay, well, 160, what if I subtract a 16? If I subtract a 16, that means I'm going to be at 15 16s, not 16. And then when I do 160 and I subtract a 16 by it, what do you notice? Oh, you know what else I'm noticing? I'm not putting 16 here. I just made a really big mistake. Did you guys catch that mistake? I was supposed to put 10 in this box here because it is not 16 times 160. It's 10 times 160. Or 10 times 16 equals 160. Sorry, I'm going all over the place here. Then if we keep going and we get 9, what we can think of is we can do something like this. So 160 minus 10. 160 goes down to 150. 150 minus 6 goes down to 144. So essentially, we subtracted a 16 to get to 144. So to go from here to here, I subtracted 16. From the bottom, I just subtracted 1. So what I want you to do is, and your homework for today is you are going to come up with your own, you're going to use the ratio table method, and you are going to use the array model method to show me what you know using this take out strategy. It is the out strategy basically where we are starting with a larger number. So we're having, instead of 135, we're starting with 150 and we're subtracting a 15 from it. That is what your homework is for today. Let me go ahead and show you what you're going to do. So you have 2 sheets of homework for today. This is your first sheet. You are going to use the ratio table method to solve these problems. These were problems from our book. And then it says use the array method to solve these problems. So I should see like a drawing or something on this page here, and I should see like a ratio table or something similar to this on this page. So once you have all of these submit and done for today, then you are all set. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.